Listen, if you're someone who's serious about your credit restoration journey and you're serious about really taking full control of your credit, then you may want to listen up. It's a lot of changes that's happening, and I want to equip you to be in a position of power, or at least the position of knowing what's going on, so you can know how to navigate when it comes to taking your credit to the next level. Now, right here it says that the CFPB must supervise auto finance, debt collection, credit reporting, and international remittance industries. Rigorous supervision is needed to protect people from financial abuse, which is happening, like crazy right now. A lot of financial abuse is happening in the areas of bankers and lenders lending money to people in ways that does not benefit them because they're just in the business of making profit. There's a lot of fraud and things in that nature that are going on as well as data being distributed in a massive manner, and that's hurting people overall as well. So you have to be aware of what's going on, because this could be something that's keeping your score from going up. But also, if you plan on doing certain things in the future, you not knowing this can cause you to be taken advantage of. So let's dive in. It says that the CFPB should not cut back on supervising key industries that expose consumers to big risks and have a track record of violating the law. The National Consumer Law Center, basically the CFA, and 29 other groups said today in comments of the CFPB, cutbacks to the CFPB supervision could send a message to companies that violations of the law will be ignored. So what are they saying? They basically are saying that the CFPB is planning on cutting back, in which they've been, targeting the CFPB and the things that they've been doing for some time now, because the CFPB has been somewhat of a watchdog, basically holding these big companies who violate consumers accountable. They'll file lawsuits. They'll, distribute complaints, make sure things are being operated in a way that people's rights are being protected. They're making sure that the credit bureaus or the debt collectors are doing what they need to do from a standpoint of how they go about collecting on the debt, just enforcing the codes that are in place, basically. Well, if they're going to lighten their workload, then that means they won't have enough manpower or woman power in order to make sure that these companies are held accountable. If these companies know that they don't have somebody holding them accountable, then they're going to take advantage of the consumer even more. So that's what they mean when they say violations of the law will be ignored. That's the mindset they're going to take. They're going to be like, okay, we don't have a watchdog, somebody who we know knows the lawsuit process, watching us. So we can take advantage. We can get away with a lot of different things. And you got to understand, it is big companies who do not like the CFPB, even though it's a, .gov site. They don't like the CFPB because it holds them accountable and holds them to a different standard. It also says that 31 advocacy groups submitted general comments to the CFPB arguing that the Bureau should not reduce number of larger companies potentially subject to supervision, and basically detailed comments on the auto finance, debt collection, credit reporting, and international money transmission, also known as remittances markets. The comments were in response to 4 advance notices of proposed rulemaking, signaling that the CFPB is considering drastically shrinking the number of companies potentially subject to be examined. So they're considering dropping at these numbers. Now look at these numbers. This is a big difference, and this will let a lot of companies get away with who knows what. So they're talking about going from 63 auto finance companies to as few as 5, possibly eliminating all of those that focus on subprime lending. So if they only going to focus on 5, but it's over 60 that are benefiting off of taking advantage of those with low credit scores just so they can make a boatload of money, then this puts people at risk. They're also talking about going from 36 consumer reporting agencies to focusing on as few as 6. Consumer reporting agencies are like your Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, but there are several more that many people don't talk about, like your LexisNexis, your SageStream, your Innovis. So it's a lot of different companies. Well, if they're only going to narrow it down to 6, then that leaves these other companies who are sometimes owned by Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax to operate however they see fit. Then they're talking about going from 200 to 250 debt collectors to as few as 11. Now, we know those debt collectors, they operate unlawfully all the time. And as a result, people are in fear of their credit, in fear of basically getting sued And in many cases, these debt collectors don't even have the proof of the assignment of debt that proves they had the ability to collect on the debt, let alone some of them don't even have the authority or the jurisdiction to operate in the state that they're trying to collect in. So we have to make sure we understand what's going on so we know what to do in terms of really benefiting from taking our credit to the next level, but knowing the things that they're doing, the games that they're playing, and how it can offset whatever your goals may be. They're also talking about going from 28 international money transmitters to as few as 4. So the vast majority of complaints to the CFPB are about credit reporting. So this is just saying that they don't like that. People are saying that they don't like the way that their things are being reported on their credit reports. A lot of errors, a lot of inaccuracy, a lot of outdated information. All of these things contribute to you having a low credit score. So if you have a low credit score due to some errors or some inaccuracies, then it's a chance that you may be disqualified from things that you really should qualify for, or you may be overpaying in interest. That's why I created some solutions, and I want to give it to you here shortly. But you just got to know that this type of stuff is taking place so you can know how to adjust and pivot. It's always a solution. I'm not the woe is me, the detrimental, selling the doom and gloom. When you know good and well, it's always going to be some type of backdoor solution. One of those solutions is you becoming knowledgeable about all of the factors to understand how to better your credit, which I'll show you exactly how you can understand that for pennies. Then another thing is you knowing or having people in your toolbox that can help you in the event that you are violated from a FCRA standpoint, meaning that if your credit is not being reported properly and there are violations, you need to have somebody in your toolbox that can sue on your behalf and not charge you out of pocket up front. Well, I can connect you to that as well. So these companies, a lot of times limiting the CFPB ability to examine larger companies in those industries to make sure they are complying with the law makes no sense. So why would you limit that when people are in need now more than ever? The CFPB's plan to limit oversight of the debt collection, credit reporting, auto finance, remittance market is yet another abrupt reversal from its mission to protect consumers from financial abuse, which is their mission. And that has always, been something that has been something people are able to tap into and leverage. But if they're being stripped, then it puts consumers at a losing battle, at an uphill battle. Not a losing battle because it's options, but most people don't know their options unless they do some digging or unless they get exposed to these type of videos. So let's wrap this up. The CFPB couldn't have chosen a worse moment to shrink its duty to oversee major financial institutions and help avert the next crisis. Congress tasked the Bureau with supervising non-bank companies in the wake of the financial disasters of the Great Recession, when a lack of oversight of non-banks wreaked havoc on households across the country. The CFPB needs the flexibility to supervise companies if red flags emerge and to understand compliance issues in companies of different sizes. Basically, this is what the advocates are saying. So I'm going to conclude right there in terms of the CFPB and things that they're doing, but I want to get into some solutions. I want you to take advantage of this, and this link is available down below, and you can get access to exactly what I'm talking about on how you can start taking your credit to the next level. The first thing that I want you to get tapped into is getting access to our legal team, reviewing your report and seeing if you have any errors that could qualify you for up to $2,500. Up to $2,500. So right here in the start here section from the beginning, unlock your $1,000 to $2,500 payout. It's a video where I'm going over what you need to do, the exact steps you need to follow to see if your rights have been violated to a point where you likely qualify for a payout. That's very important. Then I want you to be understanding or in the know of how credit works overall. Not that you don't, not that it in social intelligence, but it's a lot of little nuances that people don't realize that they can do to take their credit to the next level. So I break down the importance of this section, the formula for incredible credit, how to get approved for almost anything. So that's a real breakdown, so you know how exactly your profile needs to look. That's important. Then breaking down all of the factors of credit in the form of a challenge. It's a 5-day credit challenge. Of course, you can binge watch it and be done with it today if you choose. It's just up to you and how serious you are about taking full control of your credit. You even get access to a 24-hour inquiry removal guide, how to get your job to pay off your credit card. That's a deep one. That's one that a lot of times people miss out on and don't realize that if you work a job, it's a good chance that you can get your debt paid off even faster if you understood it. But more importantly, I want to position you to not only just learn about credit for yourself, that's great, but if you are somebody who has integrity and you also want another stream of income, I can show you how to have some $1,000 days and you can start earning money with me, because it becomes a team effort of people who are on a mission to put people in better positions financially, credit wise. And it's something that is going to require a lot of people. I know you might know a lot of people who are in the credit repair industry. Well, it's over 40 million people who have errors on their credit report, and it's not enough of us to serve all of them, which is why more of you are needed. And if you can earn income by helping others and have integrity, and you're positioning yourself to have some $1,000 days or whatever your goals are, then this right here can help you. So I'll show you different ways you can make money with me, the proper way to get set up to where your credit business looks like it's been in business for years, showing you the things that are needed to be in place and position, the software, the tools, breaking it all down and letting you understand what it takes to launch your credit business as soon as you're ready. So that being said, don't take news like that and feel like that's the end and nothing that you can do. No, it's always something you can do. You just got to get plugged into the right setup, the right system, the right program that can help you do what you need to do to better your own credit, even if you want to just stop there. But if you say, you know what, I want to take it to the next level and help others, and that's what I'm here to help you do. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.